Hi, this is Shauna Reed, daughter of 1,000 Maniacs, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
And we are wrestling with AEW All Out Dream. It's tomorrow, and this is their third All Out event. Technically fourth if you want to count All In. Um, and it might be the biggest one yet. Just looking from this, we're gonna cover all the matches, but looking from the outside in, how do you view this paid preview, Scooter?
Well, this is going to be the pay-per-view that I think really cements how AEW can be seen as finally be seen as competition by the WWE. It's going to take everything for AEW to not screw this up. You know, it's and considering that a lot of New York AEW fans are probably going to be very pissed off if they go ahead and bring in Bryan Danielson, and how much of that overshadows Punk, or does it even overshadow Punk at all? I don't think it does at this point.
And we'll talk about that in one moment. Same question to you, Kaliko.
Oh man, honestly, this is probably their most important pay per view ever. I mean, this is more important than their first pay per view because this is the first pay per view where they actually have a, a mini buzz in the wrestling community and in mainstream. So they're going to have to do something and make it worth the while. The question is, what's going to happen after the Punk match? Because is everybody going to tune out for the Punk match, or they have to do something to keep them intrigued after that match? The placement of the Punk match is more important to me than anything.
Well, let's start with the Daniel Bryan rumor, or uh, Bryan Danielson. Yeah. Um, you just said, Scooter, that a lot of people might be pissed off in the New York area. Um, and that it might overshadow the CM Punk debut. Um, but doesn't AEW need to load this show with both barrels so there's something for everybody to kind of tune into?
That's the thing, is you've got the biggest name. You literally have the biggest name. And it's been 3 weeks. They they really have to ride the CM Punk momentum as long as they can. Because the moment Daniel Bryan shows up, it's gonna cut in to, it's gonna be dueling CM Punk versus Yes Chance. And eventually, fans will pick up on, or rather, I'm sorry, they will get, it'll start to get to the point of annoying that Punk and Bryan will, who without trying, Punk the fans have pushed to the top of the show. You know, Omega is now a is now the second in command in his own company.
Oh yeah.
And I think Daniel Bryan, if you bring him in, well, one, keep Punk and Bryan away from each other. Don't have them interact at all for, I would say, at least 6 months.
Well,
Let
if
them
Daniel Bryan is going to come in on anything, I would say after the Omega Christian match, just have him walk down the ramp and stare Omega in the eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that we're not gonna get Punk Omega. We're gonna get Bryan and Omega. And
Well,
yeah. This is
what I was gonna get at was Daniel Bryan he hasn't had a match in like what, maybe 6 months. We know what Daniel Bryan could do and what he's capable of in 2021. CM Punk hasn't had a match in 8 years, so I imagine he has some ring rust and isn't right now a proven commodity. So to go with Daniel Bryan and Omega right now, I would say that's a more of a short thing than Omega Punk. No?
yes. I would absolutely say that. But then again, there's more backlash. Brian waltzes in and is at the top of the card. So, like, again, it's gonna take a lot for AEW to pull this off successfully and without any backlash.
Oh yeah. Now, let's get into it. The first match out, the 21-woman casino battle royal. Who wins, Kaliko?
I mean, it's wide open. I would have picked Jungle Boy, but he already won one. So,
No, it's women. Female.
oh, it's the women's, females. Ooh, it's got to be somebody that comes from the bottom, right? Like
Well,
Anna J. I'm gonna pick Anna J if she's in it.
well, there is one woman TBD.
That would be Ruby Soho.
I don't think she'll win. I
I
got it.
I say it comes down to Ruby Soho, and Jamie Hayter.
I say Soho or J. Those are my two picks.
I say Anna J.
Yep.
Oh,
Because
wait a minute.
it rockets her to a title shot.
Wait, uh, wait a minute. Abaddon's in the match.
Yeah, they're not giving that to her.
Abaddon would have been better if if old girl was still the champ. Oh, I forgot her damn name.
Nyla Rose.
Sheeta.
Sheeta. If Sheeta was the champ, I'd be down. That would have made sense. Because they were going somewhere with the whole. He was scared of her game.
But then they just had Obito, so it just went there for that. Now, the next match, and I really feel like this is an underrated match, and that people really should be looking at it. Paul White versus QT Marshall. I mean, Big Show is still a big name in the wrestling business, and I'm I'm honestly excited to see this match. But what say you, Kaliko?
It depends on how they treat the match. Will it be treated as a filler, or will they give the match time to breathe? So that's the problem. Not all these matches are going to get 30 minutes. So, and to be quite honest, any other match, any other night, I would give you that. But on Punk's debut, they know what they're there for. It's like going to a Lakers game. You know what you're there for. You're there for LeBron James, right? So to me, it's iffy because I don't want AEW to get into this where WWE guys are getting over, and that's going to be a problem. So I would think QT would win just to keep them guessing on that, right?
Well, what say you, Scooter?
Paul White squash.
Wow.
Oh man, a squash, man. Ooh, squash.
Damn.
But one right hand, and it's over.
Giving them the vegetable, huh?
Yes, right in the vegetable.
Not in the fruits? We're going to be politically correct. The way that it looks, it seems like they're giving it to Paul White. But they really should give it to QT because his little group will just look like chumps if he don't get at least one big win, right?
Yeah, but then again, this is eerily reminiscent of Paul White against the Straight Edge Society. So, so I
Doesn't
mean,
fight QT Marshall if he loses this match.
no, because I don't know if anybody actually expects Marshall to beat White clean. I think the only way Marshall wins is if Paul White doesn't gain in any offense whatsoever.
But my thing is, I think that it would have to be dirty. But the biggest question of the night for all these original AEW guys is going to be, where do they go from here? And that is a question that we really need to figure out or let play out. Because after QT, let's say QT gets squashed by Big Show, where does he go from here?
That's what we said about when he wrestled Cody's.
And he's still in the same spot, right?
Yeah, that's my point. Like, it's like, is he in the same spot because they see nothing in him, or is he in the same spot because they got too many people to feed at the top? See, that's the question. That's a big question.
See, and the fact that the QT Marshall is essentially, a mentor in this case. He Yeah, it's not some young superstar hungry for a win. It's two old guys who might actually suck so much oxygen out of the ring the first 5 rows may pass out. That's why I just see this as Marshall comes charging in, boom, Marshall done. Maybe something gets changed and this turns into a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. If anything, if Marshall wins, it's going to be by nefarious dealings, by outside interference. That brings us to our next match: John Maxley versus Satochi Kojima. Talk about a squash match. Kaliko?
I mean, do we have to go over this match?
Oh no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, if Scooter wants to, I'll give him time to breathe. But
Was this match on the card before they canceled Pac and Andrade?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
AEW TNT Championship match: Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Who wins? Kaliko.
Miro next.
Scooter.
Miro, with the help of his new valet, Anal.
AEW Tag Team Championship match: the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in a steel cage. I feel like I've seen this match like 10 times, but I think it would have been better than Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. No, your thoughts, Kaliko, and of course, who wins?
You remember when the first All Out and the Young Bucks got beat by the Lucha Bros? Payback's a bitch. Young Bucks.
Scooter.
Young Bucks.
AEW Women's Championship match: Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander. Who wins, Kaliko?
Man. I want to go for Stat, but Brit's the hottest thing there, so we're going to go with DMD, baby.
Scooter.
I thought you were about to say Dr. Britt Baker, DM Punk.
Maybe Britt Baker, give me another set of retainers. CM Punk, I want them.
Who knows? Maybe we see the debut of the Chugs. Yeah, Baker retains.
Chris Jericho versus MJF. If Chris Jericho loses, he can never wrestle in AEW ever again. Kaliko.
This is tricky because Jericho, I can see him as a backstage guy, but I also feel like he would be the guy that want to go out because everybody's singing his song even without the theme music. So I'm gonna go Jericho. Although the last time this happened where it was a build up to MJF won and got a title shot. So you'll never know.
Scooter.
I believe that Jericho will win, probably with somebody's help.
What now?
But then they will turn on Jericho. That way, Jericho stays in. The stuff with MJF is finally put to rest, and then you have somebody else. And basically, this is the beginning of. This is the Chris Jericho farewell tour.
Although there wouldn't be more. If MJF already got heat, think of him being the person that retired Jericho. Woo, man. Talk about nuclear.
I feel it's more cut and dry than that. I feel that, MJF has beaten Jericho 3 times now. Jericho's not retiring. Jericho is not that guy that just retires and goes into the good night. He's going to wrestle until they tell him he can't wrestle anymore. So,
Or until he falls off the boat on his cruise.
whichever comes first. So, yeah, Jericho. There's another match on this card that is not here, but it's Jungle Boy Luchasaurus. They're teaming with somebody against Matt Hardy, Private Party.
I thought that match was taken off as
No, that was
no. I know Pac and Andrade was taken off.
yeah.
Yeah, I
can't remember.
okay. It's
Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express versus Matt Hardy, Private Party, Jack Evans, and Kaliko. Who wins? Kaliko.
oh wait, but that's moved to the pre-show.
Okay, got moved to the pre-show?
Yeah.
So that means it would have to be the Jungle Boy, whoever they team up with, right? Because you got to start them off happy.
Yeah, best friends
And that would, yeah. Oh, it's best friends and Jungle Boy and them. Okay, so yeah, they would start it off, right? Like, so you got to start them off happy. I mean, honestly, it's like, what has Private Party done since they teamed with Matt Hardy?
Just a lot of rhyming.
Yeah, so they eventually got to see the end of the rainbow, right?
I just need a guy named Marty.
So who wins, Scooter?
Why are we even caring? Whoever wins, we all lose. Yeah, just to hear that everybody, I really hope everybody just forgets the lyrics to Tarzan Boy, and they just don't remember to go. But yeah, best friends, Jurassic Express. Next,
CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Kaliko.
I kind of feel like we don't even need to talk about it, but my big question is how Darby Allin looks when he loses, because he's losing. Doesn't matter how he's gonna look.
Well, I do feel we need to talk about it because of something that Scooter said. Does AEW fuck this up? And how would they royally fuck this up? Give Darby Allin the W over CM Punk.
That's not how I think they could fuck it up.
Well, I could understand where Punk would be willing to do the job to Darby. I understand where AEW would support that. I could even understand Darby Allin wanting it. But you have a lot of people that probably don't want that. And probably won't accept Punk losing this first match.
In Chicago, of
In
all
Chicago.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's why. That's why it's Chicago. If it was anywhere else, I could see that hypothetical. But right now, Darby Allin is the Atlanta Falcons. CM Punk is the New Orleans Saints in the first game back at the Dome. It's a wrap. It's sacrificial lamb, homie. Like I can't see it any other way.
I think that also a lot of people are expecting the trigger to be pulled on a CM Punk Sting match.
What are your thoughts on Darby turning heel in this match?
No, that I think kills Darby dead in the water.
Because heels don't look like Darby Allin, size wise.
I mean, he nobody would care if he turned heel after losing to Punk in Chicago. Nobody would care.
Well, no, he turns heel. I mean, if he's beating CM Punk, he's turning heel. Maybe not in the eyes of the company, but in the eyes of the people. It's kind of. I don't really want to compare it to this, but it's kind of good comparison. It's like when Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker at Mania. People, if you bring it up, people boo. Even if Lesnar is the face.
So, but Punk is smarter than that. So, I'm betting he puts Darby over on the mic afterwards.
Alright?
Because there's no way they're not giving him a microphone after the match.
And that brings us. Anything else you want to talk about, elaborate on the CM Punk Darby Allin match? Kaliko?
Nope, I said what I said.
Scooter?
It's like the 9/11 match. It's over.
And as long as they don't bring in anybody to interfere or yeah, the biggest fear I have is them inserting Daniel Bryan into this in some way. So
We will see. And that brings us to the main event. Kind of, sort of, depending on. And we'll talk about that in a second. Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. Who wins, Kaliko?
Payback, Kenny Omega.
Scooter?
it's Omega, and even Stevie Wonder could see that coming.
I think that's a fair assessment. But that brings me to the question of the day. Does this close out All Out? Or do they call an audible, put CM Punk Darby as the main event?
Do we have a WrestleMania 18 situation on our hands?
Correct. And, They did it for, I believe, Double or Nothing with the Stadium Stampede / Moxley versus Brody Lee match. So they're not out of the realm of not doing that. And people want to see CM Punk Allen a lot more than they want to see a match that they saw on live TV maybe 3 weeks ago. No?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I could even see the where Punk and Allen, if they get, you know what, I could see this changing on the day of the show storyline wise, and Omega gets pissed off because he's now second fiddle in his own company.
Well, we will see about that. The other thing I noticed while we were talking about all of this, running through it, there's a very strong WWE presence on this card. If rumors are correct, the women's casino battle royal, Ruby Soho could win that, which is a WWE talent. Paul White versus QT Marshall, Paul White, WWE. Jon Moxley, Kojima, Jon Moxley, WWE. Miro versus Kingston, Miro, WWE. The only two MJF and Jericho, WWE. CM Punk, Darby Allin, WWE. Christian Cage, WWE. There's only two matches that doesn't have a WWE presence in it, and that's the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, and Britt Baker versus Statlander.
I mean, unless you consider when the Bucks were on Raw impersonating DX. Yeah, back in 2008.
Were they? I don't.
Yeah, they were the two impersonators.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Hold on. CM Punk's about to kick the crap out of Ever-Rise. I mean 2.0.
Same difference. Well, is that any significance? Do AEW people care about it having such a WWE presence, or is that just something I'm way overlooking, Kaliko?
AEW is gonna be like they don't care. WWE is gonna be like, what the hell? And the community, it's a matter about the casual fans. If the casual fans are like, shit, I might as well play on WWE, that's where I think it'll lose them. Because the casual fans are the ones that they need to be winning over. They got the people that they have, that they won, the hardcore is already there. It's those people that are coming in from other shows that they need to win over.
Correct. And that should conclude our coverage of...
I'm Punk Allen definitely main eventing.
Has to, right? But then wouldn't that go against the rule of what WWE did when CM Punk was champion and John Cena was? See, that's where it's like you can't be shitting on people and you do the same thing. That's the problem.
Did they? Was it formally announced or just?
Watching the final few minutes of Rampage, Punk, Allen, main eventing. I would bet my soul.
All right, we'll get that in writing.
No, you won't.
Yes.
You gotta get it in blood.
Called the notary and the priest. That'll conclude our coverage of AEW All Out 3, the CM Punk edition. We will have a full review of that show next week on the show. It should be interesting. Until then, join us this Wednesday as we interview Miss Hana. And follow us. Give us a like, subscribe, comment both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this episode and all episodes are sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And follow us on social media at WrestlingWithE, but on Twitter and Instagram. And follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
Hopefully it's not weird if I post a picture of my retainer at I am Kaliko.
And Scooter Dust.
You can find me on Twitter at ScooterJust, hosting the remix in 2 some odd weeks' time for Extreme Rules along with James. And of course, on the Smoking Dragons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
For Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.